Good day, YouTube. This is my 53 Ford Golden Jubilee Tractor. I've done a number of videos on it actually. I'll try and get a playlist put together. Sorry I haven't done that so that you can catch these up. I don't really have use for a tractor. This is our barn property. This is the sum and total of the grass that's over here. And at our house, about a half a mile away from here, I have more grass. But so I don't really have a use for it, but I love mechanical things. I love tractors, and it's just a toy. I'd like to fix this up over time, make it more presentable, throw some paint on it, nothing crazy, but to have something that, I could take to a show and have something to show. I always like things that are mechanical. And this is a piece of it, but I'd like a little more to show with my tractor. So with my last two N series tractors, I had purchased a belt pulley adapter which goes over the PTO and gives you a place to run a belt. I love things that are belt driven because that's 100-year-old history. And it's history that I was, not here for. So I'm trying to kind of relive that, if you will. So I answered an ad yesterday for a belt pulley so that I could, in the future, have some piece of, equipment that would run on a belt. And that could be demonstrated, be easily taken to a show, just, attached to the tractor or whatever. The thing of it is, they never... at least that I have found, they've never made a belt pulley specifically for the 53 and up Ford tractors, because they went from 1.1/8 PTO shaft to 1 3/8 PTO shaft, and all of the N series belt pulley gearboxes are set up for that 1 1/8. So I was running around on Marketplace yesterday, and I saw a belt pulley adapter for an N-Series tractor. The guy didn't even know what it was for exactly, but he listed the part number. He took a picture of the part number. It said 9N, so it's clearly a Ford, clearly for an N-Series Ford tractor. And I went out here and looked at this. I go, a guy could make a adapter that would had some bolts and nuts and spacers and things. If you could get an adapter from 1 3/8 down to 1 1/8, which they probably make, and I looked it up and they do make one. If you could get that adapter, you would then know the length, and you could make spacers and bolts and nuts and stuff to accommodate that. And I thought, you know what, I should go buy that, and I did. So here's the belt pulley that I picked up. It spins easily. Everything looks good. There's that part number I was telling you about, the 9N748 part number. Again, it's in real good condition. We'll check, make sure it's got oil in there. We'll clean this up, probably put some paint on it and so forth. And then, the question is, what about adapting it so I could bolt this onto my 53? Remember, 1 1/8 to 1 3/8. What? Has this already got an adapter on it? Yes, it does. So they have already did what I was going to do, and on some further investigation, looking around on these folks' farm, look at that. Do you see that? That's exactly what I was thinking. But I don't even have to build it. It's already here. Somebody was using this on possibly a more modern Ford tractor, possibly a different brand of tractor. I'm not really sure. I found this on a buzzsaw that was sitting out in front of their yard. They were using it as yard art. That this gentleman's dad owned this buzzsaw. And that's where this adapter was sitting, because he ran a buzzsaw on this adapter on the back of his tractor. So by the time the day was over, I own the buzzsaw. This will be the Impliment that I fix up and take to shows attached to my Jubilee. But it gets better. Well, it gets better and better. Better twice. So it is already set up to hook up to the 3-point. But for me, this is cool as can be. It's a Dearborn. This was made by Ford. Is that cool or what? So it's even got hitch pins on it for the 3-point arms. And instead of a top link, it's got a chain with the bracket already on it. This thing spins freely. In fact, it's got fairly good grease in it. Well, maybe I can't turn it at the moment because my strap's buried in it. But this isn't like an all froze up, been sitting out for 100 years. This has been used in probably the last 10 years, I'm guessing. Think about, just replacing the wood table and, getting this thing cleaned up, straightened up, fixed up, painted up, and then hook it up to my tractor, and with the tractor cleaned up one day and painted and such. I'm pretty stoked about this, guys. I am pretty stoked about this. Again, I'm very mechanical, but I didn't grow up in this era. I mean, if you will. This could be as late as like a 70s model, believe it or not. I think they were made like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, into like almost 70s. So it's not like it's a super antique. However, this is, I see square nuts on it. So that's probably going to date it. It's probably going to keep it in the 40s, at least this one. So anyway, I have some stuff going on, but I want to, if it's going to quit raining for a little bit, I want to get this attached to my tractor, so I can kind of move it around and have because it's a pain in the butt to drag this thing around. It was a pain in the butt to load it. Plus it was buried a foot in the ground. Those legs right there were super buried. I didn't bring anything with me to deal with getting that thing out, but we got it out. I got it out. I got my winch and we put it on a few inches at a time. That's the way it worked. And we got her loaded and we got it here. The blade, I haven't put a tape measure on it. I think it's a 28-inch blade. It actually looks to be in pretty good to very good condition. And I've been watching videos about how to sharpen these, so I don't know how much of an edge it's got, but it looks to be in pretty good shape. So might have to own some better files because I don't think I have enough files to give this thing an edge. Looking to maybe redo the wood a little bit. This bracket's totally broke. I think this was just for like a table extensions to keep your cut piece of wood kind of hanging on there so you can decide what to do it so it doesn't fall off and pinch the blade or something weird. But I paid for this assembly, I paid $275 for it. It might be a couple bucks high from what I've seen online and what the market is, but it is so exactly what I need that I can't believe I found it all in one place. And these folks were moving, they couldn't take this with them. This actually belonged to their dad, and he called the dad and he got the price from dad, so that was cool. At first when I pulled all this stuff out that was just sitting on here, again out in the front yard for years and years, irrigation, watering it and the whole thing, there was only 3 bolts. This morning I found the 4th one wedged in there beside the blade. So it was there. I had looked all over the ground and stuff. I was pretty sure I was going to have to make 1 bolt, but now I don't. It's all here. So you can tell I'm fairly excited about this thing. And here later today, hopefully, I'll get this thing turned around, back the tractor up, get it hooked up, get it elevated so we can play with it just a little bit. I'm not going to say I'm going to put the PTO on and make it run, but today, but just to do that. Oh, somebody's tied the belt together. I guess it worked, but cool. So another project, like we need another project, but you know what, you only live once, right? And sometimes you got to have stuff like this. So All right, we'll catch you back here in a little bit. All right, boys and girls, it is the next day. I took this thing to the car wash. I soaked it up with some awesome cleaner and took it down and spent $4 to get the big stuff off of it anyways. Far from perfect, but it's better than it was. Kind of reveals, you know, some repairs and, you know, that kind of thing. So to be expected, I guess. Yeah, some things are kind of bent and tweaked that need a little straightening. The thing needs to just kind of come apart, straighten it up, put it back together. Maybe new hardware, so forth like that. Probably grind on some of this stuff and before we repaint it and whatever. Everything kind of, you know, turns okay. I say okay, not perfect. Yeah, there's something in there because it was turning better than that a second ago. But anyway, the bearings likely need a little bit of grease on them. Glenn, where are your gloves? There we go. So yeah, it feels like the grease is pretty old and dry. We got just a little bit of bend like there's just these little straightening, little cleaning. That weld is cracked through, you can see that. We'll re-weld that, maybe weld it again and again. Looks like there was some sort of guard here of some sort. Might have a look at the drawings, which I did find last night on the internet. Yeah, I watched Keith Rucker. When I put in a search for this model 22-44, came up with vintagemachinery.org, and I was like, oh, I know this. So sure enough, somebody had posted some photographs of this. This was like a 2x12, and there's some pretty good steel underneath there. It looks like it could be a longer one, come all the way out to maybe here or so. Could still put a backrest on it like that to hold your cut piece here. And from the blade, probably like 16 inches. That's a good length to cut for firewood. So thinking of something like that. So probably replace this. I've got some 1/8 inch steel. Probably replace this. I suspect it's just welded, tack welded. Yeah, we should be able to grind that off of there and just cut a new piece. Put it in the press brake. Put a couple bends in it, you know, for the belt guard deal. I don't know. Do we make a longer one? I don't know. We'll let this thing tell us what it wants. I think this side of the machine is pretty good, pretty straight. Doesn't really need much. Looks like it's had a little bracing, gusseting, so forth. This side here needs to come apart, be straightened up. It's probably been roughed house just from moving around. I don't like this. It's been extended for the belt. I don't like what it looks like, so probably gonna have to make a new belt guard out of something or other, something that looks better than that. We'll get a real pin, grind up some welds. I see this it has the ability to like flip all the way up. It's got some stops right here, which will stop on the bars. They just barely line up, however. Might need a little modification there. Looking on this side, it might be okay. Yeah, so anyway, it's unloaded. It's ready for me to just kind of look at for days, weeks, whatever. I'm gonna get some grease out here and grease up these bearings or bushings. They're probably bushings, I'm guessing. I did watch a few videos on how to sharpen a blade. Yeah, there's a lot to it, but you know, you live once, right? You might as well learn a few things while you're here. And from what I've seen, the blade looks in pretty good shape. A lot of people are taking a round file in here, and this one doesn't have that. It's clearly been done with a machine, grinder, something. Anyway, so it could use some whatever. Good winter project, right? Okay, starting to rain, so I'm gonna end this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Look for some videos on this coming up one of these days. Give it a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you know when we're doing more videos, which is twice a week, right? We upload videos 6 a.m. on Saturday, 6 a.m. on Sunday. We do that every week, and we're filming 1 to 2 months in advance. So although it's September, you're probably seeing this late October, early November. That keeps videos constant, helps you, helps me, and so on. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. I'm going to cover the pulley in the rain. There we go. Okay.